Welcome everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're well. Hope your paper one went well. So I thought I'd give you a break. Thursday was paper one. Friday was the end of the week, and I thought let me give you some time off. So we'll do a quick session today. Saturday is my busiest day, so even if it's a short session, let's get back into the rhythm of studying and revising. So we are looking at June 2017, paper 2. And we'll talk about paper 1 at the end of the session today. So question 1, here is question 1. I will let you have a few seconds. Have a go. It is worth 3 marks. 3 marks, paper 1. Question 1, off you go. Okay, so first thing, just to kind of looking at this, I forgot to check that was this topic covered in paper 1 and paper 2? Sorry, paper 1, and this is probability, and here is my topic list to revise from. For probability from a table is yet to be covered, so this is definitely something that we should be revising for the test. So question 1, the table shows the probabilities that a biased dice will land on 2 or on 3, on 4, on 5, and 6. And we've got our table. Neymar rolls the biased dice 200 times. Work out an estimate for the total number of times the dice will land on 1 or on 3. So this is the topic of probability tables, if you like. So what are the first few things we need to work on? So for me, you can do this a number of ways. Step 1 is we've got to work out the unknown. So probability of 1. How do we do that? So let me just write that. Probability of 1. How do we do that? All probabilities add up to 1. Probabilities add to 1. So that's one thing. Another thing we need to do is we just multiply the number of times, the probability of 3 with 200. So probability of 3 times by 200. And then also the probability of 1 times by 200. And then step 4 is we add them all together. So 4 steps. You could have less steps. You could join these together, but that's how we can do these. So if we label this x plus 0.17 plus 0.18 plus 0.09 plus 0.15 plus 0.1 equals to 1. All of these probabilities add up to make 1. Now it's a calculator question, so we can just get our calculator out and just add these together. 0.17 plus 0.18 plus 0.009 plus 0.15 plus 0.1 equals 0.69. So x plus 0.69 equals to 1. Subtract 0.69, x equals 2. 1 take away 0.69 gives us 0.31. Okay, so that's our first thing, 0.31. And now step 2, our probability for 3. By the way, this is a process mark, doing this working out. So even if you make a mistake here, just by showing this, you are getting a method mark. The next thing is the probability of 3 is 0.18. So 0.18 times by 200, because we're multiplying it, we're rolling the dice 300 times. That gives us, 0.18 times 200 gives us 36. And then the same thing for the probability of 1, which is what we just worked out. 0.31 times by 200. 0.13 times by 200 gives us 62, and then we add them together. Why did I write 69? I have no idea. 36 plus 62 gives us 98. So our answer, work out an estimate for the total number of times the dice will land on 1 or 3 is 98. That is our final answer. Okay, so for this part here, getting one of these, it's a process mark. And then for your actual answer, you have that. So those are your 3 marks. Okay, let's add that to our rolling tally that we will have. So last year's grade boundaries are here. So to get a grade 3 per paper, we needed 11 marks. So we've just banked 3 marks, 1, 2, 3. So let's add that to our tally. Now, if you are here for the first time, remember to subscribe to the channel. But I want to show you something before we kind of move on about the channel itself. So if you are, for example, stuck on this question, one of the things that you might want to do is you can search under the channel, if I can find it. I did do this earlier. Search on the channel for this topic. Let's see if it works. Okay, I can't seem to find it. I think on YouTube, the website, it's better, but it hasn't appeared here as I wanted it to, actually. But if you did search for it, you could actually find probabilities from a table, and then you can you have practice questions. So I will probably try and get that for you. Let me try again. Let's go to the next question. We're gonna skip some questions. So this is something some of you have commented, why do I do this? And you would have realized from paper 1, we want to bank the easy marks. So if you go through the whole paper, you will realize that there are some easy questions that come later on, and some questions that come, some hard questions that come earlier on the paper. So we need to bank those easy marks, that which is also a bonus. It kind of helps our brain warm up to the exam. So we can warm up our brains, and then we come back to the harder questions later on. So the analogy I give is, imagine a sports event. Imagine you're doing weights. You don't go to the heaviest weight straight away. You start with the light weights. You warm your muscles up, you build up, and then you go to the heavy weights. So that's what we're going to do now. So if we go through the paper, the next question that I would like you to do is go to question 7. Question 7. Okay, so here is question 7. Try question 7. Off you go. I'll give you a few seconds for that. Okay, question number 7. A number n is rounded to 2 decimal places. The result is 4.76. Using inequalities, write down the error interval for n. So first of all, step 1 is I start with 4.76. Step 2, I go to the next number above and then below. Next number above, then below. Okay, based on the place value. Based on place value. Or the question. And then step 3 is I find the numbers in between. Find numbers in between. And then step 4, I write them in inequalities. Write in inequalities. Okay, sounds very complicated, but really, really straightforward once you see it. So 4.76 goes into the middle. Why did I write 7? 4.76. Okay, to 2 decimal places. So what's my next number above? And then I go to the one below that. And then I'm going to be looking in for numbers in between these two. So 4.76, the next one above will be 4.7677, so 4.77. And then if I go backwards, 77, 76, 75, 4.75. Now what's in between these two? 4.755 is in between these two. What's in between these two? 4.765. So we've got that. Okay, now that I have that, I've done my step 3 now. I can write this as in place value numbers. So you got 4.755 goes in the middle, x, and then 4.765. They always kind of point to the left. If you like, we have the less than inequality. Now, which number rounds up? 5 rounds up. So this one is equal to. And that is my final answer. 2 marks there. Again, so if you search for error interval on the YouTube channel, there will be practice questions for you there, as well as practice exam questions there for you to answer those questions. So let's add that to the tally. That's worth another 2 marks. 1, 2. Okay. Now again, so the next question we're going to jump to is question 5. So question 5 is where we're going to go to now. Okay, here is question 5. This is worth 2 marks. Question 5. Have a go at this question. Sorry, on the last question, one thing I forgot to mention, this is very likely to come up in paper 1 or paper 2. So this is a must topic in my opinion. You must be revising that. So it's an easy 2 marks that will come up, very likely to come up on paper 2 or paper 3. Time will tell if I'm right or not, but that's my humble opinion. Okay, let's try this one. I'll give you a few moments to try that. Okay, now this topic kind of came up in the exam. So will it come up again? I don't know, it's 50-50, but since we're on it, I will kind of cover it. What can we do with this shape? We need to simplify it somehow. So the way to simplify it is you've got a big triangle, the big one here, and you've got a small triangle. So your big one is ACE. A, you can't see that. Let's go there. ACE, and you got BCD. BCD. ABC and EDC are straight lines. EA is parallel to DB. EC, E to C is 8.1. E to C, so E to C is the big one, 8.1. DC, D to C is the smaller one, is 5.4, so 5.4. And then you've got D to B. D to B is this one here, that's 2.6. Work out the length AE. So AE is this one, so it's your big one here. Okay, so you've got that. That's the one that you are working out. So let's call this A, since it's part of question A. So step one is I need to find the scale factor. So I do one divided by the other. So I have to do either the big triangle divided by the small, or I need to do the small divided by the big. It doesn't really matter, but you have to stay consistent, whichever one you do. So I will go with this one because I prefer larger numbers. And once you've done the step scale factor, you have to kind of multiply or divide. Okay, so that's how we do it. So I've got 8.1 divided by 5.4. Can you see that on the screen? 8.1 divided by 5.4. That gives me, let's get a calculator out. So relief having a calculator. 8 divided by 5.4 equals to 1.5. So now my scale factor is 1.5. Now think about it. If I'm going from the small one to the big one, I'm going to be multiplying by 1.5. If I'm going from the big one to the small one, I'll be dividing by 1.5. So that is the key thing here. It's having that. Let me make this a bit clear. Divide by 1.5. Okay, so that is very important. So here in this case, we're going from B to D to A. So we're going to be multiplying by 1.5. So 2.6 times 1.5 equals, let's get our calculator out, gives us 3.9. Okay, so that is the first part. So we've got those marks banked, if you like. Now the next thing we need to look at is part B. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Part B. Okay, I'll just draw the diagram here just so that you remember. While you do that, I will give you a few seconds. Okay, part B, AC, so A to C, this bit here is 6.15. You don't need to redraw this, I just did it here just so that I don't have to go back and forth with the paper. Work out the length of AB. So AB is actually, if I draw the sketch out here, this is A, this is B. We are working out that little bit. So I need to first of all find out what BC is. So step one, I need to find out what this is. Let me call this part B. Find B. And then once I do that, I have to do step two rather. The long side, take away the short side, gives me that little bit. Long, subtract short. Okay, so now I'm going this way. So it's going to be divided by 1.5, my scale factor. So it's going to be 6.15 divided by 1.5 equals 6.15 divided by 1.5 equals 4.1. So now AB equals to the long side, AC take away BC. So that is 6.15 take away 4.1. 6.15, take away 4.1, that gives me 2.05. Okay, so that's another 4 marks banked. Let me go back to this paper. 4 marks banked. 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. I'm on 9 marks. I'm 2 marks away from a grade 3. Okay, let's go to the next question. That is quite easy to do. Not easy, but hopefully something we can do. Is question 6. Okay, question 6 is here. Here is question 6. And this is worth 3 marks. So you can see 3 marks. Now, if I go to my revision topic list, this is compound interest. So as part of that, it is a topic that we should be revising. Here it is. Compound interest is a must that we need to revise. So this will come up, if not paper 2, paper 3. So this is a topic that you must master. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds. Off you go. Have a try. Okay, let's look at this. So a lot of information to digest here. So Anil wants to invest £25,000 for 3 years in a bank. So he's got £25,000 and he's got 3 years. Okay, personal bank, compound interest, 2% for each year. So that's fine. That's one. Then you got secure bank, compound interest, 4.35% for the first year, and then 0.9% for each extra year. Okay, so that's what we have there. Which bank will give Anil the most interest at the end of 3 years? So because they're starting from the same point, we can just see what they both get at the end, and that will tell us who gets the most interest. So step 1 is I need to work out each of these. So first of all, what topic is this? It's compound interest. We've mentioned that already. So step 1 is I need to multiply. I need to find the multiplier. Find multiplier. Okay, step 1. Step 2 is I multiply by each multiplier. Each year. Okay, I'm doing it the long way. You can think of a shortcut, but I'm going to do it the long way because that's simpler for me, and so I will not get lost. And so, but multiply by each multiplier each year, and then I can compare. Step 3 is compare which bank. Okay, or compare the bank. So let's look at personal bank. Personal bank, PB. Okay, so 2%. So I've got 100% plus 2% equals 102%, or 1.02 as a multiplier for each year. So that means I've got £25,000 and I'm working out for 3 years. 1, 2, 3 years. So I'm going to be multiplying for each year. So here you can use a percentage button if you're familiar with that, or just change that to a decimal, which is divided by 100. So 1.02 times 1.02 times 1.02. Okay, and then now we just put that into the calculator. 25,000 times by 1.02, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. That gives me 26530.2, 1, 2, 3, and so my final answer is 26,530 pence. Sorry, 30.2 pence. All right, so that's my personal bank. Let's look at secure bank now. Let me just get some space for me to write on without getting the information lost. All right, so now we look at secure bank, SB, secure bank. So 4.3% plus 100% gives me 104.3%, which is the same as 1.043. And then I've got 0.9%. So 100% is what I always start from, plus 0.9% equals 100.9%, which is the same as 1.009. So now I've got £25,000 times by each year. Okay, so the first year is 1.403. The second, and then 0.9% for each extra year. So I've got 1.009, 1.009, and so that now gives me, if I use my calculator, 25000 times 1.043 times 1.009 times 1.009 gives me 26546.462. 123, so it's 26,000, and if I round it, it's 0.46. Now, I need to compare them. Which one is bigger? Is 26,530 or is it 26,546? So it's the second one. 26546 is more than 26530, and so this is SB, secure bank, is more than personal bank. Okay, so that is my answer. I have made sure which bank will give Anil the most interest at the end of the 3 years. So my answer is secure bank. All right, so that's another 3 marks banked. Let's add that to our tally. So we got 1, 2, 3, so 5, 10, 11, 12 marks. We've banked our grade 3. We are a few marks from our grade 4. Right, let's jump to the next question, which is going to be question 8. Why are we going to question 8? Let's see. All right, question 8 is here. So I've got to zoom out now. Cumulative frequency. Clearly that's the topic. Let me look at my revision list, and I will put this in the description so that you can also use this. Cumulative frequency is a must revise topic. So whether it comes up on paper 2 or paper 3, in my opinion, is very likely to come up. So it's something that we must practice, must be familiar with. So I will give you a few seconds to read that. No, I will read it because my camera cannot focus. I need to move this around. So question 8. The cumulative frequency graph shows some information about the heights in centimeters of 60 students. So you can see 60 is there and it goes up to 60. Okay. Yeah. I think this is a bit more focused. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds. Have a go. I'll also check chat if there's any comments, any questions you may have. And once you're ready, you can also post your answers in chat as well. Okay, if you need more time, press pause. And once you're ready, you can press play. So the question says, work out an estimate for the number of these students with a height greater than 160 centimeters. So work out an estimate for the number of these students with a height greater than 160 centimeters. So step one, I need to find 160 and read off. Oops, you can't see me writing. So step one, find 160 centimeters and read off. And then I need to find which part is greater. So step two is find the greater part. Find greater than 160. Okay, so that's what I need to do. So we can see here 160 is here. So I can read this off. Okay, and then I can see this is 2 squares away from the top there. So I've got that. That's my 1 mark bank, if you like. Now my step 2 is find the greater than. So this part is greater than. Okay. Now that corresponds to this part of my graph. So I can see what is that number. It's, if I look at the units, there are 10 boxes here. 10 boxes equals 0 to 10, 10 units. Okay, so it's quite straightforward. 1 box equals 1 unit. So I don't need to worry about conversions. So if it is 2 boxes away from there, this is 48. So my answer is going to be 60 take away 48, which is 12. I don't need a calculator for that, and that's my final answer. So that is another 2 marks banked. 1, 2. All right, let's see where our next question is. So question 8, we can go to question 3, or we can jump to question 22. Let's go to question 3. Let's go to question, actually, let's jump to question 22. You'll see why. All right, so remember, one of the things I was saying about banking the easy marks, all right, maybe not easy, but then it gets harder. So we go on to like the medium questions, and this is one of those questions. Sometimes you think this is the penultimate question, the last one is question 3, but question 22 of the paper you think is very, very hard, but actually it's actually not too bad. So this is a good 3 marks. I'll give you a few moments, try that. Okay, and then we will continue. Okay, if you have an answer, post it in chat. If you are here to chat, if you are here, like the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so that you get instant feedback when I go live. I mentioned earlier, Saturdays are my busier days, or I may not have mentioned it, but Saturdays are a tricky day for me. But I thought I'd come on, and then go through this. So we'll talk about what I thought of paper 2 at the end of our session. All right, so first of all, what topic is this? You can see its sequences. So if I go to my topic list, so this is to revise for paper 2 and paper 3. Linear sequences came up in paper 1. Now, quadratic and geometric sequences, it's 50-50 whether it will come up or not. So we should be revising. It's not one of those that it's a must in terms of what I think will definitely come up, or 95% sure, 99% sure, but this is one of those 50-50. So clearly this is sequence. It's the end of the paper, so it's not going to be linear. It's going to be algebraic. It's going to be quadratic or geometric. In fact, it is a quadratic sequence. So how do we do this? Now, you may have your own method, which is fine, but I have found this method, which is I find really simple. So what I'm going to do is find the first difference, find first and second difference. Okay. So I'm going to find that, and then using that, step 2, I'm going to find the zero term. Okay. That's going to be step 2. After I find the zero term, I'm going to find 2a to find the a term. Okay, so you have to remember 2a term. That's the only thing you really need to remember, the 2a term. And then after I find that, I'm going to find step 4 is the a plus b to find the b term. Okay, and I find that this is my easiest way to find this out. So a quadratic sequence is of the form an squared plus bn plus c. So that's what it will look like. Okay. What do I do? So let's rewrite this sequence here. I'm going to leave some space because I need that. 4, 11, 22, 37, 56. What's my first difference? First difference for all of these. Four plus something, you can do, it's a calculator paper, you can just use your calculator. 11 take away 4 gives us 7. All right, so it's plus 7, and you can use your calculator, carry on like that, but this is plus 11. 22 plus 37 is plus 15, and then this one is plus 19. Okay, now what's the second difference? The second difference is plus 4. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 4. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to find, we found the first difference and second difference. Now we need to find the zero term. The zero term is here. Okay, and we can use this pattern. We start with the bottom one, because can you see it's all the same? So this must also be plus 4. And then what is this one here? Something plus 4 is 7, so this must be 7 take away 4 is 3, so this is plus 3. Something plus 3 gives me 4, it has to be 1. 1 plus 3 gives me 4. Okay? Now, find the zero term. This here is my zero term, which is C term. So this is C. So that's 1. So here under C, I'm going to write plus 1. This is my 2a equals to 4. What's half of, so divide by 2. What's half of 4? Equals 2. So this is 2n squared. It goes in front of the n there. Now this one here is my a plus b term. A plus b equals 3. Now I've just worked out a from here. A is 2. 2 something equals to 3. What must I do to 2 to make it 3? I add 1. So that's my b. So b equals 1. So that goes here, plus 1n. And that is my final answer. 2n squared plus n plus 1. You can write 1n in as well, that's fine. So that's 3 marks. It's a little bit long, but all we're doing is adding and subtracting, really. There are other methods, but this is the best method I've found. It's a little bit long, but guess what? Yes, it takes long time, but it's easy to do. And the most important thing is I have now banked myself 3 marks. 3 marks. So 1, 2, 3 marks banked. All right, so let's do the last question for today. I don't want it to be too long, which is we're going to go all the way back to question 3. I plan to do every day at 8 p.m. That's my plan, inshallah. So 8 p.m. I'll put this on YouTube as well as you can zoom in. And if I do extra sessions, then obviously you can subscribe to the channel and you'll get the notification. So we've got a square grid here. Any comments on chat? Comments about paper 1. So after this question, we'll have a discussion about paper 1. All right, so I'll give you a few moments. Try that question. Okay, so question 3 says, the diagram shows a prism with a cross-section in the shape of a trapezium. So we've got the trapezium here, and we've got that there. I'll have to zoom out a little bit. All right, so I have to zoom out a little bit more. Is that enough? Hope that's enough. Okay, so we have got that there. On the centimeter grid below, draw the front elevation and the side elevation of the prism. Use a scale of 2 centimeters to 1 meter. So on the centimeter grid, draw the front elevation, the side elevation, and then we have to use a scale of 2 centimeters to 1 meters. This question is worth 4 marks, so it's a nice chunky number of marks that we can bank or get. So I'm going to, first of all, step 1 is we need to identify the front elevation and the side elevation. So step 1. I'll write it slightly here so you can see here. Step 1, front elevation. Step 2 is side elevation. Okay, step 3, you've got to use a scale. Step 3 is a scale. Use the scale. And then step 4 is to draw them. Okay, so these can be in any order in a way. So I've got the front here. You can see I've got 2 centimeters, 0.5 meters, 2 meters above, and they kind of join like that. So I'm going to draw a sketch here, which is 2 meters. It's going up 0.5 meters. And then this is going up 2 meters. And this is joining. So that's my front elevation. And the side elevation, you can see from there, you've got this little thing here. So a rectangle, we've got 1 meter by 0.5 meters. And if you look at it from this side here, it's gonna look like a rectangle. And then you can see there in the background, you've got another rectangle there. So that's gonna be a bit taller like that. And this is 2 meters like that. So that's what I've got here. So that's my sketch. Now I need to, so I've done my front elevation sketch, side elevation sketch. Now I need to use the scale. So I've got this scale here, 2 centimeters equals to 1 meter. 2 centimeter equals to 1 meter. Okay, so I've got 2 meters I need to find out. So I need to find out 2 meters. What is that in terms of centimeters? And I've got 0.5 here. 0.5 meters. What is that going to be in terms of my scale? So if I think about it, 1 meter, I'm halving to get to half. So I can half this. So I'm dividing by 2. Divide this by 2. So that means half of 2 is 1. So I hope that's all right. That's clear. And to get from 1 meter to 2 meters, I'm doubling, so I'm multiplying by 2. So I can multiply this by 2. So this is 4 centimeters. Okay, I hope that's all right. And now we can sketch this using these numbers. So here, this one is 2 meters, which is equal to 4 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another 4 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another 0.5 meters is 1 centimeter, so I go up 1. And then you've got that diagonal which joins them. Okay. And so I need to label this as well, front elevation. Front elevation. And I'm now going to do my side elevation here. And I'm going to kind of use this to kind of help me, assist me. So that's going to be my height. So 2 meters was 4 centimeters. So I'm going to use the same height. And then you can see this line here is 1 meter. 1 meter is 2 centimeters using the grid. This is 1 centimeter. And you can see it matches, aligns with this as well. So now we can draw this line here. So that line will look like a rectangle here. And then I can just join up the rest like that. Okay, so that is worth 4 marks. So let's add that to the tally. So we got 4 marks there. 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. 5, 10, 15, 21 marks. We've banked our grade 4. We're 6 marks away from a grade 5. Now, I will hopefully do a paper part 2 for this. Let me look at the chat and the comments. So what do I think is going to come up on paper 2 and 3? So I've done a little topic list. I've used this template from TGMT, the GCSE maths tutor. And what I've done is all the topics that have come up, I have unhighlighted them, so to speak. And the topics that come up every year, I've highlighted in green. So this is my must revise topics. So from the number topics, product rule for counting, laws of indices, product of prime factors, error intervals, which we kind of covered in today's session, using a calculator, and so on. I'll put this in the description, in the folder, in the description, which I've done. So in the description, there'll be a link to this, so you can download this. All right, so all of these topics in green is where you prioritize first. Expanding and simplifying hasn't appeared yet. Solving linear inequalities, quadratic inequalities, iterations, functions, algebraic proof, graph transformations. Did that appear? I can't remember actually. I'll double check that, but I think that's there. Pythagoras, trig. I mean, all the calculator topics. I mean, trigonometry is calculator, so all of this is yet to arrive. Ratio and proportion, compound interest. Today's lesson we covered that. Direct proportion hasn't come up in paper 1, but it's a must. Density, mass, volume hasn't come up, it's a must. Pressure, force, area, gradient of a graph, angles in parallel lines, and so on. So these are the topics. What's my thoughts on paper 1? I thought it was a fair paper. I know there were some people saying it was quite tough, but I had a look at it, and using this method that I use, the way I teach you here, I counted at least 20 marks that you could get maybe 15 marks very easily. And then there were another kind of 15, 20 marks that you could get. Like, it would take you a bit of time, but you could easily get that. So I thought it was a fair paper. And like I'm going through things here, you could get 40 marks, taking your time, banking the easy questions and spending time on the harder questions. So I hope that answers your question. Anything else in chat? There isn't anything. Let me know if you guys prefer a particular time, but my intention at the moment is every day 8 p.m. So that it's kind of after whatever you're doing at home, you get a break, have a snack, have dinner, and then you can rest. So yeah, share this video with friends if you're finding it useful, as well as like if you have friends in year 10, cousins, you know, share it with them in year 10 because they're going to be revising for their mocks that are coming up. So thank you, all the best until tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye. Assalamu alaikum. Bye bye.